Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we finally started going around Pallet Town. We went out from our house, and I went around most of it except for the lab. So today we'll start with that, and after that we'll finally trigger that event. And yeah, if you have already played this game or the originals, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, with that we'll properly start the game. Let's say it that like that. But yeah, without further ado, let's start. Yeah, funny enough, this time we get two summaries, two parts of the summary. The one that we had seen twice at this point, the one we have actually also straight up explained step by step. Of course, we won't do so, but yeah. There it said that Red took a rest at his house. Yeah, funny enough, because we exited, we came out from it. But yeah, we saved here. So yeah. Let me quickly see. Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, so we can actually start. As mentioned, yeah, we checked actually the sign last time. Yeah, the Pokémon Research Institute Lab of Professor Rock. So yeah, we'll enter it. And we want to do so, apart from, of course, checking out what's inside, because we want to talk to our rival before triggering that event. Yeah, first let's start with some of the NPCs here. First and foremost, this one says, Watashi mo hakase no joushu toshite Pokémon o kenkyū shitemasu. Without the period at the end, but yeah, clearly there is one, or there should be one. Yeah, this, first and foremost, watashi, the fundamental pronoun, first person singular pronoun in Japanese, unaccented, an abbreviation of watashi, which is more formal. This one's slightly formal, but it's the more common one. And yeah, I. Then we have the inclusive particle mo, also even. Then we have hakase, as we have seen, what has been translated in English as professor. Technically, it's expert, learned person, used as a noun or also as a suffix, as we have seen in this very game and also Pokémon Snap with Professor Rock. Doctor, PhD, yeah. This one accented on the first syllable, just as a reminder. So the hakase, high, low, low. Yeah, then we have the possessive particle no, so yeah, of the professor. Then we have Joshu, a Chinese compound, a pretty short one, actually an accent, so Joshu, low, high, and then if we added a particle, it would be unaccented as well. But yeah, unaccented like most Chinese compounds. Joshu means assistant, helper. Literally, it uses the kanji for help, rescue, and so on. The one for taskeru, which we have seen the verb before. And the one for hand, the shu is the one for hand we have already studied, I'm pretty sure. cioè literally you could say a helping hand, but yeah, it means assistant, helper. It's not surprising seeing the hand as this used as a in a way like in English, because actually it's found also in other words with a similar usage, as we'll see. But yeah, so assistant. Then we have to ste. To technically is the particle with, either with, as in with a person, together with a person, with someone, or with, as we have seen, the topic particle. It's worth mentioning that actually in this case we have a different meaning because of the following verb, suru, an accented, literally to do. Here in its step form, unfortunately suru is completely irregular, so we simply have to remember that its continuative form is si, and then we simply add te to that, ste, barely heard if at all the e, because it's between unvoiced consonants. But yes, so this expression to ste we could say by doing, as in acting, as, and yeah, so the meaning of this particle is as in the role, in the role of, can also be for, as it mentions the dictionary, from the viewpoint of. Technically other meanings, but yeah, this is the one we need here. So yeah, as the professor's assistant. Then we have Pokémon, of course, Pokémon. The object particle o, written as one, pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. Then we have Kenkyu, which we have seen again when we've shown today, when we've shown the sign outside, because yeah, it's part of the research, and yeah, it's the term for research, a Chinese compound unaccented on its own. Kenkyu. And yeah, technically a noun, like most we could say Chinese compounds, but we can change it into a verb by adding suru, so yeah, literally to do, a research, study, investigation, better research, the fundamental meaning of this kanji, of this Chinese compound. Yeah, literally to do a research, so yeah, to research. Also, here we change it into its form, because actually it's required, because we would add then iru to be as in to exist with animate things when used as a verb on its own. But when used after the form of a verb, it becomes an auxiliary with the meaning continuing action or state. Iru, verb is then verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and then to attach the verb mas, the auxiliary verb. Technically, as you can see, as you might remember, we use the continuative form for compound verbs, and so yeah, technically that's why we would make a compound with mas, but yeah, nowadays simply considered an auxiliary verb requiring the continuative form before it, also called mas stem for that reason. But yeah, mas is the auxiliary to make the polite form of verbs. Cioè, simply And then we get the contraction, and yeah, so here it's shi, te, ma, su, because the I fell. And so yeah, to make it shorter, but the meaning is the same. And yeah, so even I research Pokemon. I'm researching Pokemon, whether continuing action or status. So yeah, to be doing the action of the verb in te, or to have add the action of the verb in te. So yeah, I am researching Pokemon as the professor's assistant helper. Ah yeah, so pretty easy. We can continue. Ah yeah. This NPC only had this to say. Let's check out this other NPC that says, "Ah, miete mo. Okido ha kase wa Pokémon no authority na no." First and foremost, we have this technically, in this case, I think that it's because technically it could be with this simply the exclamation like in English, or similar ones technically, but with this long vowel, long can also mean be an adverb, part of the ko so ado series. Ko close to both the speaker and the listener, so far from the speaker close to the listener, far from both. Do the interrogative, ko so are usually unaccented, do accented on the first, on do itself. This one in particular would be the one of the when we add u for the other ones, so ko, so, do. But yeah, unfortunately is an exception, becomes a long it's worth mentioning that the exclamation I mentioned at first would be the interjection is accented, so on the first high, low. The other one, the one part of the Kosovo series is unaccented, like most of those as mentioned, and the meaning is like that. So I feel like because if we used only the verb, the upcoming verb on its own, it would feel like there would be something missing. So yeah, even though it's kind of weird in a way still, I think it's the second one, so the unaccented one, like that. Because yeah, after that we have miete mo from mieru. Mieru is technically it comes from miru, to see, to look at, to watch. Verb is a verb. So by dropping the ru, we get the continuative form mi, to which we can attach eru. Because yeah, this technically would be eru as which is as a verb on its own, accented. Means to get, to earn, to acquire, to procure, to gain. But after the mass stem of a verb, after the continuative form, it becomes to be able to, can. You might remember something with this meaning, the potential form of the verb. Actually, most likely that even though nowadays it's you conjugate, there are some changes. Originally, most likely it was simply adding to that verb eru, this verb. So yeah, actually this mieru, luckily actually accented like eru, would be a potential form of miru. I think we might have seen it in this very series, that miru actually, being a ru incident verb, to make its potential form by conjugating normally, we would change the u into a and then add re ru. And both forms actually exist. This one is a peculiar one, mieru, because it's more, instead of being to be able to see, can see, it becomes to be seen, as in to be visible, to be in sight. So yeah, you can see, funny enough, with those meanings, especially to be visible. Why technically this potential form, this alternative potential form of miru gets the meaning, has this meaning. So yeah, the distinction is that one is mirareru is properly can see, and I think we saw it in this series when we checked out what was on the wall in our house. The thing we have seen in the summary also today, or something along those lines, but I feel like we have seen it. But yeah, this one is to be seen, as in to be visible. Then of course, by extension, it becomes to look, to seem, to appear. Regardless, it's eru is also a ru verb, it's a verb, and so also mieru. So we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and then simply attach te to make the te form. And then to add the inclusive particle to mo, also even on its own, as already mentioned. After the form of verbs, it can be technically even though, but more often we have seen so far technically even though by and then by extension, no matter if you do the action of the verb in te. So yeah, I think actually this part is, even though it's kind of weird, no matter how it looks like, I'd say better the second meaning of mieru. No matter, we could say, no matter if it looks that way, as in, in the sense I'd say that it doesn't look like it. Then she says Okido Hakase, cioè Professor Okid in Japanese, so Professor Oak. Literally, actually, as you have seen, Doctor, PhD, Oak. Then we have the topic particle wa, written as ha. As for Professor Oak. Then we have Pokemon again, the possessive particle no. And then authority. And yeah, straight up from English, authority. Let me quickly find it for its accent. While I search it, I can mention that, yeah, notice that the th sound, because of course it doesn't exist in Japanese, becomes the closest one, which is the closest consonant, which is S. So yeah, authority becomes authority. By the way, actually, the first form given by the dictionary also has a longer vowel for the E at the end, the T. Notice, by the way, te and small e becomes T because, the tagyo, the ta column will be ta, si, su, te, to, and so yeah, to get the T sound, like in English, we write it with te and then a small e. It counts as a mora, as a bit, as a whole te, small e. Yeah, we have seen that most kana symbols count as moras. Each one of them is a mora, except for the small yayu yo, ayu eo, which count together with the previous one, like in this case. The accent is simply on the so yeah, just like in English, authority, authority. And yeah, then last but not least, we have na, no. And yeah, again, we have no at the end, thing as in fact. Technically, the nominalizer also for verbs. In between this na, because as we have mentioned last time, when we actually spoke with our mom, didn't mention that, but yeah, we also did that at the very start. To attach a noun to no, instead of using the copula, the usual copula da, we have to use na. And yeah, na actually makes sense anyway, because it's the classical form of the copula contracted. Naru would be in its attributive form, in this, like in this case. But yeah, it becomes na in contemporary Japanese. But yeah, simply remember the rule that yeah, noun plus no, we use this na in the middle. And yeah, by stopping there, na, no, we have actually seen that this na, no is a female term or language. It, yeah, that's the way it is technically. Better, more literally, it is that way. Or is that so? Is it? Of course, that with a rising intonation. That, yeah, in this case, not clearly with the exclamation mark after it. So simply, that's the way it is. Yeah, female term or language, because yeah, we're speaking with this girl here. Yeah, so the full translation is as mentioned. No matter how it, if it looks that way. As for Professor Oak, he, implied, is an authority of Pokemon. Yeah, that's the way it is. And yeah, after that she says, Hakase o sonkei suru Pokemon toreina mo oi wa yo. And yeah, first and foremost we have Hakase again, the professor, and technically the expert, doctor, PhD. Then we have the object particle O. Then we have Sonkei. Some would pronounce it as Sonkei, because most read EI as long E nowadays, but yeah, it can be still pronounced as EI. Chinese compound. I don't remember if... Okay, no, it's one of those unaccented ones, like most of them. Sonkei means respect. esteem, reverence, honor. I'd say keep in mind technically respect is enough. Of course, the noun, like the other one, so yeah, then we can make it into a verb by adding suru, to respect. Literally to do respect, so yeah, to respect. After that, we have a noun. So actually, this is a relative clause. Cioè, as we see, Pokemon trainers who respect the professor. And yeah, after that we have Pokemon. And then Torena. I think it's the first time we've ever seen the term in this game. Yeah, trainer from English. Of course, we have the additional O for the because the T can stay on its own. And if we added another vowel, usually U, we would change the pronunciation because it becomes Tsu, as mentioned. So we add O instead. And then the usual long A for the R sound, because it isn't present in Japanese. The closest vowel is A, and also longer, usually, like in English varieties without the R sounds, like the typical example, car, which becomes ka. So yeah. The accent for Torena, is on the re, just like trainer in English. And yeah, by the way, also we've seen it before. A, English A becomes simply long E in Japanese. Not even E, as you can see above for some K, even though most pronounce it long E nowadays anyway. But yeah, the English terms straight up long vowel, long E. But yeah, then we have the inclusive particle mo, so also even Pokemon trainers. And then we have oi, an adjective, which means many, numerous, a lot. Accented on the first O. The rule would be that the accent would be on the second to last mora. But since that one becomes the long vowel of the previous one, we write two O. Yeah, it's a long O. So yeah, the accent is actually on the first O. So yeah, oi, high, low, low. But yeah, simply many, numerous. E adjective, so in plain speech, like in this case, is fine as is. Then we have the final sentence particle wa, indicates emotion, is a typical female language particle. And yeah, again, we're talking to this girl, this lady. Emotion or admiration, technically. Simply emphasis in Kansan dialect. So yeah, there's also that usage, but yeah, now more often than not you find it as a female particle. And then we have yo at the end, hey, or as I say, also kind of like you know, because yeah, it adds this one adds emphasis or even better certainty, we could say. Other usages like contempt, request, warning, and so on, but yeah, usually certainty or emphasis. So yeah, the translation here is there are also a lot of numerous Pokemon trainers who respect the professor, you know. So yeah, check out what she says. Let's check out what this other character says. Oh yeah, perfect. This one says again, I'm also researching Pokemon as the professor's. I'm also researching Pokemon as the professor's assistant. So yeah, same as this one. As we have just seen. Let's check out these bookshelves. Okay, yeah, this one is the typical message for this. It's full of Pokemon books, books of Pokemon. Yeah, we've already seen it, we won't fully explain it again. Yeah, same. We should have, we check also this quickly, but yeah, the same. We should have some things to check around here. Yeah, let's do that first, then we'll talk to our rival. And yeah, it says Nani no Kikai daro, with the exclamation and interrogative, sorry, an interrobang. Yeah, first Nani on its own, interrogative pronoun, which means what. Here with accent on the na, on the first syllable. Here with a possessive particle, so to attach it to the following noun and also modifying. So yeah, what something. That something is kikai. They barely heard it at all because it's written in voice consonants. It's a Chinese compound. And is actually accented on the ka. So yeah, different than usual. Although it could be, and I think I might have actually seen it in dictionaries, but otherwise, even if I haven't, most likely that's the case. It could be a word accented on the first more technically, but then because its vowel is barely heard if at all, most move the accent in such cases. So instead of being on the ki, it moves on to the ka, so kikai. So yeah, be careful, the accent is there. It means machine, mechanism. Technically also instrument, appliance, apparatus. That one technically often with a different kanji at the start, but yeah, this one is clearly simply machine, mechanism. And then we have daro, the form of the copula, the dubitative in plain speech. And yeah, so usually with the meanings seems, I think, I guess, I wonder, I hope. Yeah, we could say actually better conjectural. Yeah, that's the term used also by the dictionary there. It's worth mentioning that it can also actually be used as more like right, don't you agree? I thought you'd say that, so yeah, actually not conjecture at all, so yeah, more like asking, more, yeah, it's like that, isn't it? You could say by extension from it seems, it seems like that, doesn't it? But yeah, it's worth mentioning that technically there's a different accent pattern depending on the usage. But yeah, unfortunately, it's more complex. So yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. Checked it once more, but we'll do so eventually. For now, simply remember that both patterns exist. Here I'd say actually more than either of those. It's more like simply in the sense of what kind of machine is this? Well, technically in the first sense, as in I wonder what kind of machine is this? But yeah, instead of being used more for the exclamation, as we can see with the interrobang at the end. Then it says Sawaru no wa yamete o ko. And yeah, first and foremost we have Sawaru, which means to touch. Actually an accent, so Sawaru, low, high, high. And so actually the following no would also be high, because Sawaru is unaccented. To touch, technically also then to feel, to handle, not the best, I'd say. Better to touch, the fundamental meaning, and then by extension to feel. Further extension also to get involved with, to approach, but yeah. The fundamental meaning is to touch. Like in this case, because then we have no, here straight up the thing as in fact, but actually more like the nominalizer for the verb. And then we have the topic particle wa. So yeah, as for touching it, it implied, as in the machine mentioned above. Then it says Yamete from Yameru. We have actually seen it already because we've studied its kanji. To stop an activity, or to cease, to discontinue, to end, to quit. By extension also to cancel, to abandon, to give up. And so yeah, in our case better to abstain, to refrain. The way actually, let me check the accent, but it should be of Yameru, yes, unaccented as mentioned. Ru verb is a verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form and then attach the te. Te form required because then we had oko from oku, to put, to place on its own, unaccented. When used after the te form of a verb, we have we can have two different meanings. The most common one is to do something in advance. Not our case, although in this case, because actually here we have the other meaning, which is to leave something in a certain state, to keep something in a certain state. You can see it why we use this te oku form with oku as the auxiliary. Oku unaccented, by the way, again. Because yeah, literally to put, to place. So yeah, figuratively putting the action of the verb either in the sense to put it aside, and so to for future usage, cioè to do something in advance, or yeah, to put as in put and leave it like that. So yeah, because of that. Okay, in our case, well, first and foremost, before ending with the translation, we have oku, u verb, colon verb, so we can change the u into o, and then add u, so actually long o, because o-u is long o in Japanese. So yeah, oko is the evolutional form of the verb, here in its most common meaning, let's. So yeah, the translation is hey SKS. Yeah, it's Professor Oak laboratory. Anyway, we are checking around first here. The machine, like this machine, will talk to the rival, and after that we'll finally trigger the event. You might know what will happen after if you have played these or the original games, or also the remakes. For future remakes like the Let's Go ones. But yeah, as I was saying, the translation is as for touching it, let's refrain from doing that. And yeah, so then we have the Teoku because of and so leave it leave the machine as is. Okay, yeah, let's continue checking around. This doesn't say anything. I can't think so. Okay, this one on the other hand is something. It says Ironna no rampu ga chika chika hikatteiru. First we have Ironna. We have seen it before from Iro, technically from Iro, accent on the last syllable, color. With the doubling it becomes various, most likely colors in origin, but nowadays simply various or something. Unaccented Iro, so be careful. Iro na, an adjective, and then gets contracted into Ironna, because it's shorter. And yeah, funny enough, after this Ironna various, and we have Iro on its own, so yeah, various colors. Technically accent on the last syllable, but since we have the possessive particle after it, it becomes unaccented because that's the rule of the possessive particle, no, except for certain exceptions we have seen in this very series. But with regular words, usually that's what happens nowadays. Various colors. The possessive particle to attach that to the following noun and modify it, which is rampu. Yeah, pretty simple. Lamp from English. The n actually pronounced as m because of the following p. Accented, just like in English, luckily. From English, technically, potentially also from or from Dutch, Flemish, as says the dictionary. But yeah, then we have the subject particle ga. Then we have yeah. Then we have the subject particle ga as mentioned. We have after that chika chika. And yeah, as you might guess from its doubling and the kind of sound it makes, it's an onomatopoeia. Usually these are accented on the first syllable. And actually this one technically is. I'd say though that potentially, even though it mentioned the accent being there in this case, because the E should be technically barely heard if at all, being between unvoiced consonants. And if that's the case, then it would move. But yeah, if that in that case it would be the accent on the K, but yeah, still around there. Simply the rule we have seen I mentioned for Kikai. Yeah, an onomatopoeia, which means flickering, flashing off, on and off, twinkling, glittering. And yeah, also by extension, glaringly bright, painfully bright. But yeah, here in our case, simply flickering, because yeah, we have this or literally flashing on and off. So yeah, these lamps flickering. And after that, an onomatopoeia, but technically an adverb. And so after that we have the verb, which is hikatteiru, from hikaru, which means to shine, to glitter, to be bright. Actually accented, so yeah, hikaru, low, high, low. You might actually have heard of its the corresponding noun by changing the u into i, because it's a u verb, codan verb. Hikari, which means light, unsurprisingly, yeah, accented on the last syllable, like as per the rule. But yeah, here we have the te form, verb, codan verb, so we have to follow the rules. It's in rules, so it becomes double consonant te. Again, most likely first we change the u into i to make the conjugative form. Hikarite, but then the i fell. Hikarte, difficult to pronounce, so it became simply double consonant te. Hikatte, te form required because then we had iru, so yeah, continuing action or state. So yeah, the translation is simply lamps of various colors are shining, glittering in a flickering manner, or we could say are flashing by moving that on the verb, on and off. Yeah, we've checked out that. Yeah, that says also that again. Here on the PC it says Passo con o miruto nanto denshi meru ga kiteita. Yeah, first and foremost, passo con, and we've seen the abbreviation of pass on our computer. Yeah, the accents are just like in English. The compound would be accented. We keep the accent only of the second word. As per usual, that's the tendency, if not straight up rule. Passo con, on the other hand, this abbreviation is unaccented, so be careful. Yeah, PC. Then we have the object particle o miru, to look at, to see, to watch. Then we have the to. So actually, in this case, after a verb, a form of the conditional, if, when, so actually also potentially a temporal usage like in English. This is the closest one to the zero conditional, so yeah, if you do the action of the verb, then something inevitably happens. After that we have nanto, first and foremost, technically nani, what, as we've seen. The ni abbreviated into n because of the following to. This to, on the other hand, is with, as in the quotation particle, so yeah, what, technically, as if we were quoting a what, an exclamation. So yeah, it's an exclamation as if what, or can be by technically translated also as how, by yeah, literally would be what. Then we have denshi meru. You might have guessed that the second word, since it's from English. Yeah, first we have denshi. On its own, let's check its accent. Okay, accent on the first syllable, so on the de. Technically, electron, so it's a Chinese compound, one of those accented on the first syllable. Electron, but yeah, by then it becomes usually electronic. like in this case, electronic, meru, mail from English. So yeah, this is an electronic mail, usually referred to as email. But yeah, in Japanese we use the electronic with the Chinese compound and then the English word meru. So actually, as a compound, we keep the accent of simply the meru, aki accented just like in English. So yeah, then shimeru. Then we have the subject particle ga, and then we have kiteita. From kuru, to come. Unfortunately, the other completely irregular verb. So we have to remember that its continuative form is ki, and then we simply can simply attach the te to make that a form. Kite. The I barely heard it at all, and so actually the accent, because kuru is accented, so yeah, the accent then actually moves on the te itself. Yeah, te again used because we add iru, so continuing state, action or state. Iru, verb is a verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form. In this case, to add ta, and so make the ta form, and so the past form of the verb in plain speech. So yeah, if when you look at the PC, emails, I'd say plural, have been, because yeah, then we have technically the theta would be have been coming. I also with what that what at the start. We have literally some special dots then. Yeah, it says then Pokémon o Tsuyoku sodatete tatakau Pokémon Torena. First we have Pokémon, of course, the object particle, o Tsuyoku from Tsuyoi, strong, an I adjective. Other various extended meanings, but the fundamental meaning is strong. I adjective, so we can drop the I to add ku, and so make the adverbial form of the verb, so in our case used as the adverb instead of further conjugation, as we have seen the other usage of this form. Tsuyoku, the accent should move on the tsu, I'm pretty sure, but we can quickly get the physical dictionary. Okay, got the physical dictionary, let's quickly check. Because yeah, I feel like that should be the accent of the adverbial form of adjectives. But I want to be sure. No, these are older forms. Okay, this one. I have to find the one for the adjectives, though that was for the verbs. I think it's slightly after then. Okay, no. It's here. Yeah, with unaccented verbs, of course, it stays unaccented. Yeah, with accented ones, it moves, it's on the third to last mora. So in our case, Tsuyoku. It's worth mentioning, by the way, while we're at it, Well, I'll keep it in mind simply when we see that form again, but yeah. This one simply, this rule, pretty easy actually. I actually was pretty convinced, but I wanted to verify it anyway. Okay, strongly, so. Then we have Sodate from Sodateru. A verb, which means to raise, to rear, to bring up, by extension then to train, to teach, to educate, better to train, I'd say in this case. So yeah, let's say fundamental meaning to bring up, by extension to train. Sodateru, accented, reverb is a verb. By the way, it's worth mentioning that Sodatsu is the intransitive form of the verb. To be raised, so to be brought up, to grow up, accented also. But yeah, the intransitive in U, the transitive in Eru, so one of those, a couple of those verbs that work that way. But yeah, reverb is some verb, so that Eru, so we can simply drop the Ru, continuative form, and then add te. So that's why we get two te, one after the other, so that te. By the way, the accent is on the da, then it moves because third to last, also for the te form of verbs, being in a reverb is some verb, yeah, the third to last then is da, so yeah, that's why it moves, be careful. But yeah, te form in this case required either to simply, with its most common meaning, do the action of the verb and, or similar ones by doing the action of the verb, while doing the action of the verb, and so on. I say either and, or by doing the action of the verb in this case. But yeah. Then we have Tatakau, to fight. An accent, we have seen it before in this, also in this very series. We've studied it, the kanji, but not the one usually used. That the other one is used to fight, as in the stance of to struggle against adversities and so on. This one is a more generic fight. And then we have Pokemon Torena again. So yeah. Yeah, so the translation here, Pokemon trainers who fight by raising, by bringing up their Pokemon strongly, as in, of course, as in the Pokemon that they bring them up to be strong. Yeah, and continue. Then it says, ここに最強のトレーナーが集まりました。Funny enough, separated there for some reason. But yeah, first we have Koko, part of the Kosodo series with the Ko is the place. So yeah, this place, literally, here. Ni, in, at, let's say, and so a technique I used with verbs of staying. Well, in this case, actually, maybe better to. We'll see why in a second. But yeah, after that we have Saikyo, strongest, is a Chinese compound. Unaccented, okay, this is one of those unaccented ones. Like most of those, but there are some with this prefix sai, which is the one that gives the meaning the most. And then the second kanji gives the changes to give the meaning. Like in our case, we have Kyo, which is the kanji, the Chinese reading for the kanji for Tsuyoi. So yeah, strongest. Noun, which technically a noun which takes the genitive case particle, the possessive particle no, to make in practice an adjective. So yeah, strongest something. In our case, Torena, so yeah, strongest trainer or trainers, better. Subject particle ga. Atsumarimashita, from Atsumaru, to gather. Intransitive, this one. Atsumeru is actually accented, this one. So Atsumaru and Atsumeru. Transitive in Eru, intransitive in Aru. So the one, the intransitive most likely is a classical form of the passive. So yeah, technically, to be gathered, to be collected. So yes, then simply something gathers is called assembles and so on. Yeah, we change the U into E because it's a verb and verb to then add mass. Here it's for mashta, so the past form of mass. And so to make the in the affirmative, to make the past form in polite speech. So yeah, the translation is here, maybe as in to this place technically. But yeah, regardless, here the strongest trainers have gathered, have assembled. Yeah, then it says Basho wa Sekie Kogen no Pokémon Rigu Honbu desu. Okay, so actually I have to open these if I don't get issues here. Because we check this place. Actually, a place that will be quite... well, I'd say in this case better to keep it for later. I simply mentioned the translation here, the English translation. We check it out at another time. Because yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to translate it, to check it out now, since it's quite actually in the future of this game. But yeah, it says first and foremost, Basho wa Sekie Kogen no Pokémon Rigu Honbu desu. Yeah, Basho should be unaccented. It means place, location, and so on. Unaccented, yes. Not strictly a Chinese compound, because Ba is actually of strictly Japanese origin. It's a mixed compound, but yeah, luckily still unaccented. But yeah, then the topic particle wa as for the place, the location. Then we have this Sekie Kogen. We'll leave Sekie alone for now. I can mention that Kogen is the term means tableland, plateau. Unaccented. It's a Chinese compound, so unsurprisingly. So you might remember, yeah, it's the Indigo Plateau. We'll check it, the origin of Sekie when it comes up again, later in the game. Then we have Pokemon, again, Rigu. League, of course, from English. The show, because the G can stay on its own, like most consonants, except for accented just like in English. Then we have Honbu, Honbu means headquarters. I think accent on the first syllable it is. It's a Chinese compound, but one of those accented like that. Headquarters technically can be head or main office. The Hon is the one we have actually studied. It's kanji, which has the meaning main, among other translations. While Bu is division, as we'll see eventually. Then Des, the copula in polite speech. So the translation is, as for the place, it's the headquarters of the Pokémon League of the Indigo Plateau. And then it says, Okido hakase mo ichido goran kudasai. First and foremost, we have Okido hakase, again, Professor Oak, the inclusive particle mo. Ichido, a numeral plus counter combination, as we have seen. Technically, one with two different meanings. Either one time, so once, or 1 degree, depending on the meaning of do. Depending on that, we have actually the accent can change, as we have seen. Luckily, not for Ichido in particular, so we won't repeat it for now. Ichido should always be accented on the do. In this case, clearly as simply once, one time, literally. Do is of Chinese origin, so we use the Chinese numerals. So once. Then we have Goran. Technically, Ran is the Chinese reading of a kanji. Go is the honorific prefix used usually with Chinese compounds. Goran unaccented. Technically, it's the honorific for to see. So instead of using Miru, we use Goran. Actually, in this case, it's more by using Goran on its own, actually followed by Kudasai. It's more like please. Well, no, actually, in this case, it's please come and give it a look. Actually, literally, but we have then Kudasai, Kudasaru, verb of giving, honorific verb of giving, from a superior to an inferior. It uses the kanji for low, we have studied that. Kudasaru, verb, verb, but to make the continuative form, we drop the ru and that i technically was. We changed the u into i kudasari, but then the r fell, so only they remained, as happens to other honorific verbs. Continuative form, because then there's an implied masse, so the imperative form of mass, cioè the imperative polite, honorific technically actually, but imperative polite form of the verb. Translation is simply also you, actually, because it's toward Professor Oak, and here we can finally see an example of using the name and a suffix. Usually even just a son is enough, but here with Professor Oak, we use his title, Professor, the colloquial one, but still technically Professor. also even you, literally also even Professor Oak, please come and see it once. And yeah, after that we have a little suspension dots. Then it says Pokemon League Yori. Yeah, Pokemon League. And then we have this Yori. As we'll see, we have seen it at least once before in a previous series, usually used for the as the particle for comparisons then, but it can actually be used as a from, especially as seen, for example, in letters, or in our case, emails. And yeah, so simply have to remember that it has also that usage. So yeah, from the Pokemon League. And yeah, then more suspension dots, and then it ends there. Okay, we'll take... we'll take a short break, around 5 minutes, but most likely slightly less. When we'll be back, we'll check the rest of the things here in the lab, talk to our rival, and then we should be able to at least trigger the event, not to fool it fully, but yeah. See you in around 5 minutes, slightly less. And we are back. Yeah, so we can continue. And yeah, now we have to check this, which is quite important because they'll go away. Can mention that much. And yeah, this says Zukan mitai na mono ga aru. And yeah, it stops there because we have the exclamation mark. First and foremost, we have Zukan, quite an important term for Pokemon, because it means, well, technically, Zukan, actually it should be unaccented, I think Zukan, and yeah, it is unaccented, because it's a Chinese compound. it technically means pictorial book, picture book, or even better, I'd say illustrated reference book, and so on, field guide technically. But yeah, this term, the picture is illustrated is from zoo. Technically, usually, technically also drawing in general, but also used for map, as we see when we find the meaning, the word for that. Kind of like a diagram, also. But yeah, then we have this can on the other hand, which means model, we could say, or specimen. Zucan means we have a pictorial book, illustrated reference book. Yeah, it's you can see the graphic. Yeah, it's the name, the Japanese name for Pokédex. Of course, it would then become Pokémon Zucan. So yeah, illustrated reference book technically, because of course, it's about a reference book technically, an electronic one, but with illustrations. Then we have Mitai. In this case, it's a suffix, an adjective, despite that we can see it here because we straight up have the na. It has the meanings like, sort of, similar to, resembling. It's a colloquial one. There are other ones, other forms, other suffixes with similar meanings, but more formal. This one is more colloquial. But yeah, so then we have the na to attach it to the following noun, which is mono, thing as in object. We've even studied its kanji. We have the subject particle ga, and then the verb aru, to be as in to exist of inanimate things, so like an object, a literal object, like in this case. The structure something ga aru, there is, there are, then in translation simply. So yeah, there is an object like, resembling a pictorial book, illustrated reference book. After that it says Naka wa shiroi peiji bakkari da. And yeah, first we have Naka, the one we studied kanji in the previous series. That's on Japanese with series Super Mario World. Inside, with the topic particle wa, literally as for the inside, it's inside this Zucan. Then we have shiroi, white, the adjective, the adjective. So we can then attach it immediately to the following noun, which is peiji. Actually, this is clearly from English. But it should be one of those unaccented, if I recall correctly. It is, so be careful. We have seen some words clearly from English, but unaccented instead of having the same accent as in English. So be careful. White pages, plural, because also of the following. Bakkari. We've actually seen, I think maybe last time, Bakkari. Here with also double consonant. the meaning doesn't change. It's more emphatic with the doubling of the consonant. But yeah, its meanings are merely, nothing but. Yeah, as I mentioned, technically nothing but. So yeah, in the sense that it's full of. Yeah, it's nothing but. In our case, white pages. Technically, it's a particle, but can be considered a particle. But yeah, after that, we have the copula in plain speech. So yeah, so yeah, it says, as for inside, it's full of, we could adapt it, it's nothing but white pages. And yeah, of course. This says, on the other hand, stato, botan, or pushu. Yeah, first, stato, start, of course, from English. I think we might have seen it already, and yeah, the accent should be on the same, just like in English it is. Botan, unaccented, but in this case, because it's not actually from button, despite the similarity, it's from Portuguese botão. It's button still. So yeah, the start button, then we have the object particle O. Then we have this pushu. Usually should be pushu with the doubling of the consonant, but yeah, pretty sure it's the same despite that. Yeah, push from English, accented just like that, just like in English. So yeah, technically a noun, and then implied the verb suru to make it into a verb. Cioè, push the start button, and then it says osuto menu ga hirakunari. Yeah, first and foremost we have osu, push, this one, the strictly Japanese verb, we have seen it before, unaccented, can also mean push as in to thrust, but yeah, here to push as in to press down a button. To against the conditional if or when, also in the temporal meaning, if when you press it. Then we have menu, despite the form which is clearly similar, also with the longer vowel to French. The accent is like in English, so be careful, menu. Then we have the subject particle ga. And then we have technically hiraku, which we have seen is one of the verbs which means to open. Makes sense in this case. After that we have nari, which is a particle with different meanings. In this case, I'd say it's simply the one which is as soon as, right after. Yeah, it's the one when used after. The meanings depend actually, depending on the form of the verb before it. But yeah, with the dictionary form of the verb, the terminal form of the verb also, we could call it based on the Japanese name. Yeah, it has the meanings as soon as, right after. Yeah, so if when you press it, as soon as you do that, right after doing that, the menu opens. Hiraku both transitive and intransitive, so yeah. Okay. So yeah, these are tips. This one says Seibu suru ni wa Pokémon reporto komame ni kakuto ii inari. And yeah, in this case, it says seibu, of course from English save the game in our case, of course. Should be accented like in English. So quickly check it, yes it is. Then we have the verb suru to make it into a verb, because technically it's a noun in Japanese. Then we have the particle ni, to, in this case in order to save. Then we have the topic particle wa, as for in order to save. Then we have the Pokemon reporto, again report, but yeah, the accent stays on the po, because of course Japanese doesn't change the accent depending on its usage, like in English. Yeah, Pokemon report. Then we have komame. Here komame ni, but komame. Komame is a na adjective, accent on the first syllable, which means diligent, earnest, attentive to detail, brisk, frequent, for example, checking. Actually, in our case, I say this final meaning, frequent. Yeah, the fundamental one I say better would be diligent. And yeah, so technically diligently. Because yeah, an adjective, so to make the adverb its adverbial form, we use ni. As mentioned, could be technically a particle. I suspect straight up the continuative form of the classical copula nari. Either way, it's the adverbial form of this adjective, cioè diligently. So yeah, by extension, then you can see why that becomes frequently. Then we have kaku, to write. In this case, can also mean to draw, but yeah, here simply to write. Again, to, the conditional or temporal usage of this structure. Then we have I. Yeah. In this case, I say yeah, simply I first, as in the adjective good, and then nari again in the usage we have seen before. Yeah, to save. If you write it diligently, the Pokemon report, it's good, literally. So yeah, in the sense you should write the Pokemon report diligently, frequently. Okay. The Windows has nothing. The bookshelves still say that it's full of Pokemon books. Yeah, we want to check also this. Monster Boruda. Technically, it would stop there. Yeah, first and foremost, we have monster. I've seen it for Poketo Monster. Just like the accent, just like in English. And then we have Boru. Actually, I suspect, well, it's a ball from English. Yeah, it's one of those words that are unaccented, so be careful. Not sure if the accent, then which one, how it would be for Monster Boru as a compound. I suspect it might become accented Boru on the first syllable. Because it becomes technically a compound, but I can verify it. But yeah, Monster Ball, so yeah, the Pokeball. And then the copula does simply, so yeah, it's a Monster Ball. Then it says Nakani Pokémon が入ってるぞ。And yeah, first we have Naka again inside Ni. Into technically. Because yeah, then we have Pokemon, the subject particle が入ってる from 入る to go, come, get in, to enter. We have studied even its kanji. It's a verb golden verb despite being in iru, so be careful. It's in ru, so we have to follow the rules, and yeah, so it becomes double consonant te. And then again to add iru, here shorten into, and so becoming ru, continuous action or state. Last but not least, the final sentence particle, so male speech or male term or language, this one, adds force. Technically can also indicate command, but yeah, here simply adds force, I'd say, maybe simply emphasis. But yeah, so it says inside it, a Pokemon, we should say a Pokemon is put inside it. Yeah, literally as it, the Pokemon is entering into it. But yeah, in the sense that it's actually inside it, has entered. But yeah, the other ones are all the same. So yeah, we can finally talk to our rival here. As a reminder, we called it, well, we'll see it here. We called it him Green. And yeah, first and foremost, it says Nanda Reddo ka. First and foremost, yeah, we have Nanda. Again from Nani, what? The interrogative pronoun. By adding da, which is literally simply the copula, the ni becomes contracted into n. And yeah, so this Nanda literally would be Nani plus what plus the copula. It's used as an interjection, as a what, literally. We could say as then more can adapt it as a oh or what the heck, as says the dictionary. But yeah, after that we have Reddo, the name of our protagonist. Ka, technically the interrogative particle, but as we can see we have an exclamation mark after it. So yeah, it's actually in the sense if it isn't red. So yeah, what the heck if it isn't red. And yeah, after that he says Okido no ji-san nara inee yo. First and foremost we have Okido, Orchid, Professor Oak. Then we have the possessive particle no. Then we have ji-san. And yeah, from Oji-san, as we have seen, grandfather. Technically the term used for someone else's grandfather, but can also used as a familiar term when talking about not simply my grandfather, but in a more familiar way, usually when referring to when talking to them. Yeah, because when usually talking is simply more generically about my grandfather, we would use the term sofu, as mentioned before. yeah, as usual, also the meaning for a generic male senior citizen, old man. And yeah, notice that here we the honorific prefix dropped the O, while the rest remained. So yeah, even more so clearly, as in the familiar term for his own grandfather. So yeah, Grandpa Orchid in Japanese. Then we have Nara, technically one of the forms of the conditional. If it is like that, or if it is that in the case of nouns like here, Nara is an abbreviation of Nara Ba. So actually, the conditional form of the classical copula Nari, as already mentioned, used here more in the sense of if it is, literally if it is Grandpa Oak, but yeah, in the usage as for on the topic of Grandpa Oak. And then we have Ine from Iru. We have already seen it, to be as in to exist, finding many things, so people and animals. Ru verb is some verb, so we can drop the Ru to make here the irrealis form, the not yet state form, required to add Nai, non-existent on its own, an adjective used also for the negative forms of verbs in plain speech. And then that Nai gets becomes long AI, becomes long E. Yeah, not a standard usage of the language, but yeah, you will find it again and again in video games. We could say also kind of dialectal, but yeah. And yeah, then last but not least, yo, as in you know. Yeah, so he says, as for on the topic of Grandpa Oak, as mentioned, he isn't implied here, you know. Yeah, with that, we finally got to hear that. We can finally leave the lab. And so at the very least, yeah, we're back here in Masara Town outside, as we got to see on the top left. We can finally trigger this event. Yeah, okay, yeah, we take then the video to check that out. Yeah, we was wondering where Oak was. Yeah, it says here. We have Okido, so yeah, he's the one speaking. The opening of the quotation of what he's saying. First and foremost, we have Oi, which is used as a hey. So yeah, to call someone out, like in this case. I wonder if I can actually find it with well, for sure is yeah, technically with the long vowel specifically. Yeah, this one technically used from a distance. Yeah, literally, hey, oi. I also kind of like ahoy in English, as mentioned by the dictionary. Can also be found a similar shortened form that one is familiar and technically also made term or language, but yeah, this one with the longer vowel from a distance, yeah, typical, simply used in general, like hey. And funny enough, the very first time I think I've heard it is in Wind Waker, when we'll play it, because yeah, while there isn't, technically speaking, they don't speak the characters. Ariel says "Oi" at the very start of the game. Yeah, we'll see that when we eventually play Wind Waker on the channel. Yeah. After that it says mate, also with a longer vowel, but here simply because of the distance again, technically. Comes from matsu, to wait, or to await, doesn't matter in Japanese, accented. It's a verb, golden verb, so we can change the u into e to make the imperative form in plain speech. So yeah, wait. After that, it says matsunja. Technically, again, matsu, the same verb. And then we have this nja. The n is no, contracted. Ja, as you have seen here with a longer vowel, also again for that reason, for the distance, from a distance. It's the copula used by old characters in fiction, usually, not in real life. Yeah, we have seen it a lot with Professor Oak in Pokémon Snap. Yes, again, literally it is that you wait, as in you should wait, another way to say it. Also, I suspect to show that, to use the copula ja in this case. But yeah, we can go back to the game itself, and yeah. Then Professor Oak says, Abunai toko datta. And yeah, first and foremost, we have Abunai. A mistake there. It means dangerous. Risky, hazardous, perilous, precarious, and so on. But yeah, fundamental meaning, dangerous, unaccented, Abunai. Followed by a noun, toko. Actually, we have seen the term in previous series, because this one is simply actually an abbreviation of tokoro. Unaccented tokoro, toko, accent on the last syllable, so be careful. But yeah, they simply they have the same meaning regardless of the abbreviation. Place, spot, see, insight, and so on. But yeah, place is the fundamental meaning. Then we have the copula in its past form, affirmative, in plain speech, datta. And yeah, when using technically this, literally it would mean it was a place, a dangerous place. But I actually suspect that in this case it's actually in another usage, so that place is actually figuratively, because tokoro when used with, usually we talk about it with verbs, but it should apply also to adjectives, like in this case. When used with the present form of a verb, it means to be about to, on the verge of, Cioè, on the figurative spot of be about to do the action of the verb. The present form of the verb is used because it actually can be used for the future, a simple future in Japanese. So yeah, because of that. So yeah, it was about to be... then we conjugate the copula itself in the past because it was about to be dangerous. And yeah, then it says... Kusamura de wa Yasei no Pokémon ga tobidasu. And yeah, first and foremost we have Kusamura. Technically, nowadays it would be... well, it can be also written with a kanji on its own. Not usually nowadays, let's say. It's unaccented, but yeah, most likely it's actually originally a compound noun, because we have ksa accent on the last syllable, so notice the u barely heard if at all. Grass. Mura, unaccented. Well, sorry, no. The one that interests us is accent on the last syllable. Technique in general, gathering. There's also with a different kanji for village. Makes sense technically, the term for village from a term which means gathering. But yeah, so literally would be technically a grass gathering. So yeah, Kusamura, again unaccented, technically could make sense considering that is accented on the last syllable, Mura, because it sounds the same without any additions as like unaccented words, or it could be simply because some compounds, as you have seen, become unaccented. Regardless, yeah, it means technically the grass, a grassy place, especially one with long, dense grass. So yeah, you can see why it's used with then from grass and gathering then. But yeah, then we have the particle de, in at, the locative particle used with most verbs, ni with the one with verbs of staying. Then we have the topic particle wa. So yeah, as for in the grass, in the long dense grass, then it says yase, yase. We have seen it in this very series, quite an important term for Pokemon because it means wild. A noun, one that with the genitive case particle, the possessive particle no, then in practice becomes an adjective. So yeah, wild followed by Pokemon, of course, wild Pokemon. Unaccented yase is a Chinese compound as usual. Then we have the subject particle ga, and then tobidasu, a compound verb from tobu, to fly, also to jump, depending on the kanji. Verb colon verb, we change the u into it to make it the continuative form to attach then the verb, the second verb part of the compound, dasu. To put, to take, to get out. We'll study this kanji accented on its own. And yeah, when following, when used as a second part of a compound verb, it has the meaning simply out, like in this case, or to burst into. But yeah, here literally simply to jump out then. Yeah, so as for in the grass, while Pokemons jump out, classic. And yeah, then it says こちらも、ポケモンを持っていれば、well, first and foremost, こちら、part of the Kosodo series again. This one means this way, this direction. Then by extension also here. This one. As I think I'm pretty sure we've mentioned before, these words with this way, this direction, koshira, and so on, then by extension become words for pronouns for persons. Technically, we in this case usually would be more of a I, but yeah. By extension, by this way, so yeah, the person in this direction, and then by extension becomes a pronoun. Then we have the inclusive particle mo. Also, we, Pokemon, object particle. Then we have motte, ireba. Motte from motsu, to hold. Then by extension to hold in one hand, to take, to carry. Then by extension to possess, to have, to own. Verb and verb, it's in su, so it becomes, to make the form, it becomes double consonant te. Again, change the u into i, mochi te. Then the file motte. Actually, originally it wasn't si, but simply te, moti te. So yeah, file motte. Yeah, so simply double consonant te. The form required because then we had iru, so yeah, continuing state or action. Iru, which is a ru verb, it's a verb, so we can change the u into e to then add ba, and so make another form of the conditional or can also have temporal usage if when. This one is the closest one to the first conditional, even though in this case more like a second conditional, so yeah, unfortunately it can't always be applied that. But yeah, if we had, can simply, or carried, or literally, if also if we also carried a Pokemon, and then he says Tatakaeru no daga, from Tatakau to fight, verb and verb, so we can change the u into e and add eru, and add ru to make the potential form of the verb, and yeah, can fight. No da, so yeah, again the structure, it is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, and so on. But after that we have ga, which means but, however. In this case, as you can see, then we have suspension dots. That's because, yeah, technically the sentence could continue, but it avoids continuing it, either because it's simply clear from the context, and or because it might be rude to explicitly say it. But yeah, in this case, of course, what's implied is that we could fight if we had our Pokemon, if we also had Pokemon, but what's implied? We don't have them. Yeah, can continue. Yeah, so then it says Soja. Yeah, so it's from So. That way, part of the Kosodo series. Then the copula. here replaced Da with Ja because Professor Rock is older, so yeah. That is so, that is right, so simply because yeah, something came to mind to him. Then suspension dots, and it says Chotto washi ni tsuite kinasai. And yeah, first we have Chotto, an adverb which means a little. Again, actually the to most like the quotation particle, so yeah, with a cho. But yeah, a little accent on the cho, so yeah, before the to, like that usually is the case for these. There are some unaccented ones also. Then we have washi, unaccented, I, again another contraction of watashi, this one used by old people, I cock. Then we have the particle ni, tu, technically, required by the verb, which is tsuite. Technically tsuite kuru, as we see, because yeah, it becomes an expression, but yeah, first we have tsuite from tsuku, to attach, literally to, on its own, tsuku, to be attached to be connected with, to adhere, to stick, and so on. And so yeah, you can see why we have the particle ni, technically, because of that. It's in ku, verb colon verb, so we have to follow the rules. Becomes ite, because change the u into i, tsukite, then the k fails, and so only they remain tsuite. Tsuko accented on its own, so yeah, tsuite. And then we have kinasai from kuru. And yeah, when we use tsuite as a verb of movement, usually iku, to go, or kuru, to come, we get to follow, or better to come along. So yeah, adhere technically, or join the speaker and go or come. So yeah, to follow, better here to come along, with iku, to go along. Kuru, we make its continuative form. We have to, unfortunately, it becomes ki, it's completely irregular as mentioned. To then add nasai, nasaru, an honorific verb. The honorific form of suru, it still means to do. Notice again that it's in u verb, codan verb, but its continuative form becomes i, like kudasai, kudasaru, yeah, another one. These honorific verbs that make the continuative form like this. And again implied masse, so actually a form of the imperative polite. So yeah, simply is saying, please follow me, please come along with me for a moment. And yeah, we get brought away by Professor Rock. Okay. First and foremost, Green here says Ji-san. Yeah. Gramps, Grandpa. Yeah. Again, here we can see it in action towards his own grandpa. Machikutabire ta zo. And yeah, it's a compound verb. First and foremost from matsu, wait, as we have already mentioned. And then we have this Kutabireru to get tired, to become exhausted, to grow weary. Funny enough, we won't fully check Kutabireru in this case, but it's written with the kanji of Kusa, so that Kuta could actually be simply a change from Kusa. But yeah, to get tired, to become exhausted, to grow weary. To get tired of doing when used after the master stem of a verb, so the continuative form, so like in our case, so Kutabireru centered on its own. Hopefully also in this case, when adding that, yes, it's still accented. Ru verb is hidden verb, so we can simply drop the ru to make the continuative form and then add the ta to make the ta form, so past form of in plain speech. Then we have a zo as the final sentence particle, so yeah. I got tired of waiting. Oh yeah, we can continue. And then Oak says green car. And yeah, so technically green. Yeah, we have ka as the interrogative particle properly in this case, even though we have also the interrogative mark. The suspension dots. Yeah, because then he says, oh, soka. Technically, it stops there. First, we have that O, which is simply O, just like in English. And then we have soka. Technically, so again, but followed by the interrogative particle. In this case, it would be again like, would be technically, is that so? But yeah, generally rhetorical. If it isn't like that, if it isn't so, yeah, if you keep the so, actually can help remember also that use this so long, of course, in Japanese. But yeah, after that it says washi ga yonda no jatta. Yeah, we have washi again, I, the one used by old people because ok is old, subject particle ga. Yonda from yobu, to call, as in someone is called, but also to call out, like in our case here. Unaccented. It's in bu, it's a verb, golden verb, so we have to follow the rules. Being in bu, it becomes nda again. Change the u into i, yobi, ta, and the file yob, ta. Voiced consonants were actually prenasalized in classical Japanese, also prenasalized in classical Japanese, so yeah, yomb. And yeah, then that changed the ta into da, because yeah, that would be pronasalized, so yeah, nda. So nowadays we simply write n on its own and then da. And yeah, then we have no jatta. So yeah, again, no da. In the past, instead of no that, we have no jatta, again, because ok is old, uses that copula. It was the fact that I called you, you implied. And then he says, Chotto matte ore. Chotto again, a little, matte, from matsu, so the form of matsu. Then we have this ore from oru, the humble form of iru. So again, it's actually simply a form of teiru, continuing state or action. here we also change the U into E because it's a verb colon verb to make the imperative form of it. So yeah, please, actually not please, straight up, wait, stay waiting technically a little. And then it says hore, reddo. This usually actually more like found as hora, but there's this alternative. It's an exclamation. Look, see, hear. Well, let's say better here in that usage, like in English, as in here. Then it says, そこに3匹ポケモンがいるじゃろう。そこ、there, that place literally, に、so yeah. In at, because we have iru after, as we'll see in a second. Then we have sambiki. Let me quickly take the physical dictionary. Because yeah, as you might have guessed, because of the new number, it's a numera plus counter combination. Hiki then changes here because of the sun before it. And yeah, notice by the way, yeah, we have the n, which influences its it, and then becomes voiced because of that. Again, because it would be prenasalized in classical Japanese. But yeah, hiki is the counter for small animals. So yeah, perfect for our Pokemon here, especially our starter Pokemon, because yeah, if it wasn't clear enough, here we have the starters. So yeah, hiki, let me quickly check its accent. Unfortunately, it changes. Several are accented before hiki itself, immediately before it. Of course, not in the case of san, because the accent can stay on the n, so it moves on the sa. There are some accented on the ki of ki, hiki. So yeah, be careful, but we'll check this again when the time comes. This one luckily is accented before it, so sambiki. Pokémon ga iru, cioè there are, and then we have Zaro, Daro, so actually right, again, so in the second sense of Daro. If it isn't that the case, instead of the I wonder, or it seems, and so on. Oh yeah. So the translation, yeah, as mentioned, it's there are 3 Pokemon there, isn't that right? Ho ho! With also the double consonant, yeah, a laugh. Then he says, Monster Ball no naka ni Pokemon ga irete aru n ja. And yeah, we have Monster Ball, the Monster Ball, possessive particle no naka ni, so in the middle, inside, in this case, of the Monster Balls, Pokemon ga, okay, Pokemon, the subject particle ga, irete, so actually to put into, we have seen the transitive form of iru. We've studied its kanji. Ireru, actually an accent, so ru verb is an verb, so we can simply drop the ru and the te to make the te form. And then we have aru after it, so yeah, as we have mentioned, when we use aru with the te form of a verb, it means that something exists in a completed state or something is unchanged in its current state, used with transitive verbs. So yeah, someone, in this case actually Hawk, put the Pokemon and they exist or are currently unchanged in the state of being inside those monster balls. At the end we have again za, so no da, it is that. Let's try to continue here. Mukashi wa washi mo baribari no Pokemon toreina toshite. First we have Mukashi. The old days, the past, and so on. With unaccented. Then we have the topic particle wa, washimo, even I. Then we have baribari. And onomatopoeia. Accent on the first syllable, like most of those, vigorously, roughly, and so on. In our case, better the meaning, which means working hard, energetically, vigorously. So yeah, actually still vigorously, but in that sense. Then we have the possessive particle to attach it to the following word, which is Pokemon Torena, Pokemon Trainer, Toshite, so yeah, as. Then we have Narasta, from Narasu. Narasu, an accent actually, Narasu will literally mean to ring, transitive verb. The intransitive is Naru, so yeah, intransitive in U, transitive in Asu. The transitive is a classical form of the causative. By extension, it becomes to be popular, to be esteemed, to be reputed. Because it resounds the name of that person, technically, by extension because of that. Either way, verb colon verb is sinsu, so luckily we can simply change the U into E to make the continuative form, and so then add ta, past form of the verb in plain speech, and then it's followed by mono. I'd say maybe in this case the usage of mono for person. So yeah, I was a popular as a Pokemon trainer, a vigorous Pokemon trainer. Okay, I'd say at this point to avoid going. Okay, let me quickly see. Okay. Okay, we might actually be able to fully check it then. If we go quickly, we can make it. sorry, but yeah, I shouldn't risk disturbing my neighbor. So we'll actually continue this next time. So yeah, as you have seen, it doesn't, we don't have much left about this dialogue. But yeah, we'll check that next time. We save here. Perfect. And yeah, we can close the game. And yes, so today we checked out the lab fully. We triggered finally the event. We started checking out what Oak had to say. Unfortunately, we weren't able to fully check it out. Yes, so next time, which will be on Friday instead of Wednesday as usual, because on Wednesday, to be completely honest, I'll be busy because I'm watching the Galaxy movie at the cinema, so yeah, because of that. So yeah, on Friday, unless plans change, we'll continue this series. We'll start next time with the final part of the dialogue, and after that, if it wasn't clear enough, we'll finally pick our starter. I've already mentioned which one it is, but I won't repeat it, so if you missed it, you'll see it next time. We'll see then if we are able to check out all the parts also, because technically there is also a tutorial, but hopefully we will be able to do that. Yeah, so we'll start with finishing the dialogue and then choosing our starter and so on. Yeah, see you next time.